A very, very warm welcome. This is Arnav Chaudhary, and you are on my YouTube channel, Arunfoot. It's the 2nd of May. It's a Friday in the year 2025. And welcome to all of you who have once more joined in this discussion about Indian football in our daily evening discussions, which I try to hold. And tomorrow is the final of the 2025 Kalinga Super Cup, in which FC Goa face Jamshedpur FC. So we'll talk surely about that. And we'll talk about other things related to Indian football, the issues, the problems, how are things progressing at this moment as well. And as always, like to say at the start of such a live, do like, do share, do subscribe to the channel, and support Arunfoot. And with those, that more people get to know about the channel. And of course, also, if you like what you're hearing, you want to come back for regular content, do subscribe to the channel as well and watch the shorter videos. I did something a little bit more tricky when I discussed today about could AIFF and Indian football face another FIFA ban. Yesterday I asked the question, is the Supreme Court helping or hurting the interests of Indian football? So do watch those things, and as always, thank you for that, and thank you for your support, those of you who've been following the channel. Let's start. Zorawa says, Guten Abend, Orunda. Guten Abend. Good evening is that what it means in German. And Zorawa, the next person trying to speak German, and he asks, wer denkst du wird das Supercup-Finale gewinnen, Jamshedpur or Goa? He means, who do you think or believe will win the Super Cup final, Jamshedpur or Goa? If you look at the stats this season, Jamshedpur has won against Goa, but it's the final match for Manolo Marquez in charge. That's, I think, a factor. I think FC Goa have seasoned well through this season, generally, I would say. But again, on the other side is Jamshedpur and the Khalid Jamil, who have somehow been able in many, many matches to get the results, to get as far as the ISL Cup semi-finals, and therefore, but to me, if you ask me from a football perspective, Zoravar, I would say that to me, FC Goa would be the favorites for the final. But again, it's always very, very easy to say who's a favorite, who's not a favorite. But and therefore, the match has to be played. And I'm thinking of doing a live tomorrow, just to say this again and again. Thinking of doing a live tomorrow evening, and hope I have your support for that. Do a watch along, and we'll surely speak then about Indian football. Does Baichung has the political backing to become president of AIFF? Renal, if he had, Baichung would be president by now, right? To be very, very clear, both Kalyan and Baichung have tried their hand at politics, and both of them have lost all their political elections. Both. The only thing that Kalyan has won is actually the AIFF presidency against Baichung, but that was with political backing. So Baichung has not got the right set of political backings. He has asked some right questions, but my question to Baichung would be, as a friend, Bhutia, do you have the administrative knowledge and skills to run the AIFF? Simple question, Bhutia. And I don't think Bhai has that, and therefore I am always very, very skeptical when this topic crops up. Oh, you know what, ex players should be involved in national federations, sporting bodies. I don't have a problem with that, but let them study sports and let them come back, right? And because even if you study sports, my prime example is someone like an Oliver Kahn, highly educated guy, has done, studied a lot, has studied economics, has studied sports, but even then he's failed at Bayern Munich. Yeah, so I need people with a certain understanding of administration and knowledge to come in. And I don't see that amongst our former athletes, at least in a football front. Saurav Ganguly, for example, is a totally different ballgame. If I take as an example out of cricket, okay, someone whom you want to see in that role. Renal, I have one or two persons who I personally prefer to be in the hot seat of the AIFF as a president, but I'm not going to talk about who I think should be in that. I think that this has to be done behind the scenes and sorted behind the scenes rather than publicly, because I don't think that if this is done publicly, that will work out, because people will then try to smear these people. So therefore, you have to bear with me. I am speaking to people. I'm seeing what can be done, but I will not do that publicly. I will not do that here on this channel or anywhere else. But I'm trying to see what can be done, if the right person can be pushed into a key position within the AIFF or not. Hi, Blue, welcome back. So Tete looks good, but does he have good political backing? Tete is good. Tete is very good. I've worked with Tete X number of times over the last 12, 13, 14 years on a number of things in his position as someone controlling the Mizoram Football Association as secretary and then as president. I don't know if there's anyone better than him actually on that front. But one has to now remember that Tete is the sports minister of Mizoram. He has a lot of duties on that front. And therefore, does he have at the national level the backing to be in a higher position in the AIFF? Only, we will have to wait and see. Playmaker India recent video shows why Indians and South Asians are so bad in sports and other things. You can't cheat through everything and expect growth at the same time. Blue, but that's the problem, right? We want to do jugaad, we want shortcuts, and in sports there's no shortcut. It is a lot of hard work, right? It is not theoretical understanding, but you have to prove yourself on the field of action. And if you don't do that, you're not going to get there. And that is something where we are suffering. And and again, that parents overestimate the capabilities of their kids. I think that's not an Indian problem. That's a global problem, in my opinion. That's a problem that I feel is there around the world. But on the other side, I would say that we have to be realistic. And I said there can't be shortcuts. You cannot get your kid into the system. I know a lot of parents have offered me in the past money and said, hey, can you put my son here, there, wherever? Sorry, it doesn't work like that. Your son has to prove himself at some stage. You can do that maybe with other people at the lower levels, but you're not going to get a kid into the ISL in that way, and then your kid is just part of a squad, but can never be of that level. So therefore, this reality check is always very, very hard. Renu says, why don't the players do something against the AIFF if they feel the system is not right? In Mongolia, the players have gone against the federation. Can here players do something like that? In theory, yes. But are the players really interested in the matters of the AIFF? And I'm talking current players. Do they really care? I know, for example, there are a lot of players who are unhappy with Igor's team match. Not even one player went to the AIFF and said, you know what, we're not happy with the coach. Could you do something about it? I know from multiple players, right? So our players, you're taking the example of Mongolia, there have been players elsewhere as well, or players unions who've taken action. The players, good, why not? But I don't think that they want to take that action. They're in a position to take that action. They care. Again, it's a team sport. But at the end of the day, what has happened, I think, in the last 10, 15, 20 years across the world is that players are, looking more about themselves, looking about how they look, how they feel, how's their social media presence, following, rather than looking at the overall picture of things. And that is something which is showing as in my opinion, as a big problem, and where we have not evolved or developed in the last few years. So that to me is a big problem at this stage. Good evening, Banjob. Welcome back. Morali asked, do you think people reveal face when they are in bad situation? Rest of time they showcase the positive. Do you experience within football? Morali, yes, but I am someone who says that I can, with a little bit of experience, you can look through it. At least I think, and I say that very clearly, that I feel that a lot of things can be, if you really look at it, understand what people stand for, right? When we speak about certain people that we do, like we've had yesterday, that long conversation about a certain gentleman, and he was being defended by someone, that someone doesn't want to understand that maybe that person has done something good somewhere in the past, but the actions speak more loudly than what you say. And I always say, look at my track record. I've been very clear. If I wasn't happy and things didn't work out, I said, thank you very much, Tata, bye-bye. But on the other side, I've got my principles. Maybe I'm too focused on that, but other people don't care. They just want to have power. They want to have influence. They want to talk about the money factor, all of those things. But do they really care about the Indian football or football in general? That again, we can generalize that to a global scale. That's the biggest problem, right? Can FC Goa nick it tomorrow, or will Jamshedpur FC put the nail in the coffin? Augusto, I wish and I hope, in the interest of football, that FC Goa win. It's like the same thing that I'm saying that I would like to see, for example, in Champions League, a Barca PSG final, because I think those two are at least at this moment, most probably the best two teams in Europe. And therefore, I want football to win, right? Of course, Inter played also an exceptional match the other day against Barca, but you know how they won in the earlier rounds, especially that Bayern game. Again, Bayern have to blame themselves. So therefore, I like the team which plays football to win. As much as, for example, I admire Atletico Madrid and Diego Simeone, what they've achieved, I don't like their style of football, right? So therefore, to me, I would like FC Goa to win, and I would like also Manolo to go out, as someone who wins a trophy with FC Goa, and then in a positive way move forward, right? Do you think somehow parents fall trap to social media expert? Morali, it's not social media. Morali, I think it's parents. I think everybody wants, if you have a child and you're trying to work with that child, you want to push that child as much as possible, right? And I think a lot of parents are not in a position to judge how good or how bad that child is, how much real potential that child is. You will think, every parent thinks, oh, you know what, my child is this, that, and everything. And I always say, and when I have interacted, when I've been with my friends and my family, so to say, at the German Football Academy, when I speak to parents, when I speak to kids, I always say, they talk about Messi, Ronaldo, these days about Neymar and about Holland. And I always say, in an Indian context, get to the level of a Baichung, of a Sunil. If your kid is technically talented, get it on a level to an I Am Vision. This is where I feel we have been, where we are struggling, and where we've not gotten to the level, I think, and I believe, where we need to get to, right? So therefore, for me, that is something of a problem, that parents need to be realistic, and that parents want the best for their kids. I know that, and parents are willing to spend, it's fine, but that jugaad business will harm your kid in the long run, because if your kid is not good enough and not talented enough, it will suffer at some stage. It's not only parents, the kids are also in dream world. Rather than play on the system, I have football mates who say that they'll not play in ISL Indian leagues. Their level is Chelsea. Yeah, Renal, and nobody's level is Chelsea in India, right? Has never been of Chelsea level, right? So let's be very clear and honest about that. And therefore, playing ISL or playing I-League, that is for a lot of kids a success. We see also kids who've gone to Spain, who've trained over there and come back. Yeah, they might be good in the short term. Are they going to be long-term successful if they don't have that professional training background that they need to be able to sustain? Young players coming through are struggling, right? Renner says, wish we had someone like Tite as Kerala sports minister. Ministers trying to get votes by bragging about Argentina, FA, and the people here are also crazy. They don't even know the way football works. Yeah, but that's a general problem, right? Renner, that's a general problem when we come to sports in India. And again, I don't see Argentina playing in India in October at this moment in time. I don't think that the money needed can be raised in a proper way, and the government cannot spend money of its own. So therefore, they are stuck at this moment. As far as I know, at this moment, as we speak, from information out of Argentina, Argentina would like to play, but they're not going to go down with their price and their demands. They cannot guarantee that Messi will play. That's another problem that they have. And therefore, very difficult to see that match happening. Hi, Abhijit. Mumbai City's attack was quite toothless this season, wasn't it? Yeah, Abhijit, it didn't work. The team, forget the attack. I think the whole team somehow didn't work. The foreigners haven't been able to play their part. That's the most crucial thing. You know, Thierry did his thing. Fanif did to some extent his thing. Jeremy Manzoro was injured for most of the time. Tai Kroma was not as good as he was last season. John Toral, I love the way that the guy moves and plays, but again, little impact. And Nikolaos Karelis did score goals, but also missed a lot of the season. So therefore, for me, and the Indian attackers also not as good as they were last season. Brandon not as good as he was last season with FC Goa. So all these things then add up, and then Mumbai City is just simply not as good as they needed to be able to push for more than a top 6 finish and somehow reach the semi-finals of the Super Cup. Statistically, Manola has most points, most wins with FC Goa. Still no trophy. Deserves to change it tomorrow. Yeah, Bro, very interesting piece of stat. And as you said, and I would also say that and second it, I would love Manolo to win a trophy. I think he deserves it. So let's wait and see. Nikolaos Karelis has left Mumbai City FC, posted on Instagram. Yeah, Jojo, not a good season for him. Not a good season for Mumbai City. And again, we need, a striker who needs to be able to score more goals and has also less injuries. When Indian player came to train in Germany, how's the German Federation player react? I think rarely anyone know about Indian football, I feel. The Federation doesn't care, right? And players, they don't look at nationalities. I don't know, Murali, we care more about it and they just play. I don't know if they've got their opinions, but yeah. How do you think politics and sports is danger? Did it work in better way? Murali, sports and politics are somehow intertwined if we like it or not. Be it in an Indian or be it in a global in a global structure, it's interlinked. So you cannot remove it even if you want to. When is India's next football match? Manolo now can fully focus and will have his stars cut off for him. Avijit, we're playing Thailand early next month in June, and then we've got the qualifier against Hong Kong. So we've got 2 matches in the June window. Did you see Inter versus Barca? Yes, Pranjal, I did. Do you think certain countries hesitate to play certain players, especially when opponent team is not that big? They tend to neglect them. Yeah, Morally, it's very simple that it can be hesitation, but it's also on the other side, it's a money matter now for the bigger teams. If they're playing outside of their qualifiers, they want to see money. Very simple. Any player you thought you'd done enough in international football but didn't get enough chance? Morally, there are tons of these players. A lot of talented players never get to that next level, to the next higher level. Guten Abend, Simon. Good evening. Welcome back. Karelis did thank you post, so he's leaving. Blue, I think that most probably means it. I think Mumbai City will have a huge rehaul in the summer. Let's see. How many foreigners should the clubs just get rid of in ISL? Pranjal, you can't generalize. I think some clubs will get rid of one, maybe two. Others will get off all. So it depends on each individual team, and then you need to take a decision on what is right for you. Each club, each team needs to take a decision however they feel that is right for them, right? You cannot generalize on that fact. So therefore, that is something that you need to keep in mind. And therefore, I think generalization, for me at least, doesn't work. Sorry, it's quite hot and humid here in Germany. It's 26 degrees at the moment, and I've got my allergies, so my nose is running. Sorry for that, guys. Can't believe Diego Mauricio is going to leave Odisha FC. End of an era, says Aditya. Okay. What football players that play in I-League or don't get huge contracts and as do after retirement? Can they earn decent money in coaching like cricketers who become coaches and have Ranji experience? RS, if you are an I-League player and you're not, let's say, playing for Aizawl FC and you're a Mizo, or you've played, let's say, for Niroka and Trao and you're a Manipuri, you should have earned enough money to be able to have a decent living. Yes, a lot of players become coaches. Some have other jobs. Some have others have had, so therefore, there are different things, and a lot, yes, become coaches and get involved in the system. Aditya says he was the reason I started watching Diego Mauricio, but the thing is, who's going to fill his shoes in Mauricio? He's going to be a foreign striker or Indian. Aditya will be a foreigner. Can we see this Buckingham coming back to ISL? Jojo, he's on the market. I know that few English clubs are looking at him, and yeah, he's the reason started one. Yeah, that among all lack of quality, I'm quite pleasantly surprised with Ashik's ball control. He has improved. Others are really bad. Ashik hasn't improved. Ashik has been like this. Yeah, that's why I said, a couple of months back when Manolo said, you know what, I'm bringing Ashik back into the national team setup. I thought it was a very, very good idea. And I still think it is a very, very good idea. And therefore, for me, and the others are really bad, if you ask me that way. If Katy Perry can become an astronaut, sorry. You said money matters for friendly to play international match. What about when Germany, Brazil play friendly? Yeah, it's about matters. It's about money, of course. It's about money. If Katy Perry can become an astronaut, why Indian players improve their qualities? See, Abhijit, Katy Perry did not become an astronaut because of her talent or something, or her capabilities. Katy Perry is gone to space because she's friend with Jeff Bezos' wife. Nothing more, nothing less, right? So therefore, and Indian players need to be better. Mohammed Supergiant steht kurz davor, Metab Singh zu verpflichten. Zoever says Mohammed Supergiant are closing in on signing Metab Singh. Let's see. I think Xavier, an ex-general secretary, has a lot of PR, but from what I have seen, Ranjit has a lot of haters in the system for what he has done. Yeah, I would second that. How are we going to play against Thailand? How? Let's see. It's going to be Ashik or Dudanta, who is better? I think talent-wise, Ashik would be better. But I think career-wise, Udanta has achieved more than Ashik. Yeah, that's what I think. 25 minutes already. Quick reminder, if you haven't, you're liking the conversation, do leave a like behind. 7 so far only. I think, guys, we can do better. Share it with other people to join our conversations. And if you're new to the channel and you're liking the conversation, do leave a subscription behind. Thank you for that. And As always, let's try and grow the community. Imagine the power of networking. With the right amount of connection, you can even go to space. Oh, to फिर भी I League trophy था. Aditya, networking or friendships, yeah, these things can influence. So yeah, that is how the world works. Even it's not an Indian thing. It's how the world works. Have you seen Fernando Torres? What a player he was. Yeah, Murali. Of course, I've seen Fernando Torres. Sir, says Simon, wie werden AIFF und FSD angesichts der aktuellen Situation die gesamte Ligasaison planen, da die Anhörung auf Juli verschoben wurde? Wäre der Planungsprozess nicht etwas zu chaotisch? So Simon's question is, what do AIFF and FSDL do due to the current situation? How do they plan the league season? Because the next hearing from the Supreme Court has been pushed to July. What about the planning of the new season? Won't it be chaotic? Simon, to me, they can't plan. The problem at the moment is if the contract is not somehow extended, and yeah, I can tell you a small story that I actually told some people at Reliance, said, guys, at least get the contract extended till end of May next year. Then you have some time to at least play the 25-26 season and then try and sort out something maybe. Interesting that suddenly Marcus was speaking about it yesterday, so someone at Reliance must have spoken, or I don't know, Marcus added 1+1. So therefore, for me, there's no planning happening at the moment. The clubs are doing their planning, but I don't see FSDL, ISL planning anything. The AIFF has to decide a few things themselves of what they're going to do. And again, I honestly, I've said this now for a while. I don't know. I don't see the ISL happening at this moment in time. But yeah, that's the reality. Do you think Thailand has upper hand compared to India? Yeah, Murali, at the moment, I would say Thailand is better than India, yes. But is there potential to earn good money in coaching in India at I-League and state level? Yes, RS. I think there is. Some player after retirement gets sport quota job in state government job or job in AG office, CWD. Since many of my teammates are playing for central government office, many are still in their prime. Yeah, and that's also something. Yeah, you take up government jobs, you take up bank jobs, railways is something. So yeah, those things are what is happening. Yeah, that's right. Sorry. I think Udanta is in the squad because of Goa quota. No, he's not, Aditya, because he's good. All these quota conversations I love, because any coach will pick XYZ player and someone say, oh, he doesn't deserve to be there, right? In today's football, if I look at things, coaches will always pick their favorites, right? And some other player will not be taken, so that's up to them. Hi, Rishabh, welcome back. I'm just joking now. Geez, your Germans does take a day off, does it? How do you adjust with Indian heat, though? If the temperature is in 20s, it's cold. Abhijit, for you, it might be, but for us, we don't have fans. Our houses are built in a way to keep the heat in and not get the heat out. And forget air conditioning. And if it is 25, 26, 27 with a quite high level of humidity, it feels very, very, yeah. So it's different. The 20s here with humidity is different than 30s or even 40s in India. Sometimes I say that dry 40 plus is more pleasant than 25 degrees over here. So yesterday we were watching football, and the players were very, very happy. They jokingly were saying, why don't you do 2 drinks breaks rather than 1? They wanted a drinks break after every 50 minutes. Never saw a German person smiling. Aditya, you've met the wrong Germans. What a fall off from Udanta. Yes, he's doing slightly well now at FC Goa, but he's far from his 2019 heights. Surely, but again, Udanta in his current form, nowhere near 2019, but he's still better than most others, right? Hey Roshan, what's your take on Karavas FC collaborating with JSB? Roshan's good for the students. I mean, I lectured them a few weeks ago myself, or actually a little over a month ago, and for them the exposure that they're going to get at the Blasters is very very good because they're going to face then reality, which can be tough in an Indian environment, and it's good exposure. It's good exposure for those kids, and the Blasters are going to get some highly motivated youngsters to get some experiences, and maybe down the road they might even hire a few of them. How much important is improving your knowledge for a coach, not just monthly, day by day? It has to improve, right? Yeah. See, a coach is in a position that he has to keep himself abreast of the latest, what's happening. And therefore that's the work that then needs to be done. And you need to try and keep yourself updated. If you get a time machine, which player would like to revisit? Murali, I would like to see in the 70s, 70s, sort of a time when Johan Cruyff was playing, Franz Beckenbauer was playing, the aging Pelé, those were big times. I would love to see how the football was. Any update on Mumbai City FC? Rishabh, the only thing that I'm hearing is that they're actually looking to revamp a lot of things. So let's see what the management decides. I think, first of all, so Kratky is one. Is Suja's future ensured? So there are a lot of questions at the moment. I don't know how should I say it, Ananda. Even though you are German, you sound French while speaking German, which sounds awkward to appease and take offense. Okay, I don't know if my German actually sounds very German according to the Germans. EF says FC Goa deserves it big time. Also, we know that FC Goa will definitely put on a better show for our country than Jamshedpur FC. But again, that's not the qualification criteria. My question is, why didn't the AIFF lawyer ask the court to at least let them extend for 6 months to ensure next season? Blue, because the Supreme Court weren't interested, right? And if you listen to what the other lawyers were saying, that the MRA is this, the MRA is that, again, and therefore that to me proved once more the problem of this Supreme Court, that are they really in a position to take a call on the matter? Hi, Shonalata. Do you have any idea who can become new AIFF president? First of all, let the elections be set, right? And so therefore, let's wait and see. I have certain people in mind that I think could take over and would do a better job than the current dispensation. But again, that's not the question at the moment. Let's see what happens, and then wait and see how the new AIFF is structured. Think the players will do their best and give Don Manolo a successful send-off. Let's wait and see. If ISL would happen like last season, when would planning and announcement would happen, just to understand the timeline of these procedures? Rohan, internally the timeline would be that the planning would have already started. Because you need to know how many teams, you need to work out potential schedules, you look at the calendar of the AFC competitions, you look at international friendlies, the FIFA windows, all of that should have already been started. The good thing is that let's wait and see. I honestly don't know what's going to happen. Reservation will destroy India one day. What's the status of reservation in Germany? Do they have reservations too? No, Aditya, Germany has no reservation as such. Off-topic question, why there are no shows with Harry and Rahul? Really enjoyed the panel shows. Augusto, first of all, Rahul has gone to study to the UK. So that's one. Hiren calls me once in a while to a show, and then often cannot make it, and vice versa. Hiren, our timings don't match. He likes to do it a little earlier. I like to do it a little later, because this for me is the end of the workday before I go to dinner, and then need to do some more work, and yeah, and therefore that's that. But yeah, even with Akshata and all, I need to do that. But again, my planning is, sometimes I have to short notice, I have to cancel shows and all that stuff, because again, work, I have to prioritize that. So therefore, for me, I'm sorry for that, but we would love to do that. And again, whenever I get a chance, I will try and get onto Hiren's channel, and Hiren will come surely on my channel. It's just that we three have not been able. Again, Rahul now in the UK studying, focusing on his studies. So that's also a fact. Who do you think can win the Super Cup? Shanata, both the teams directly can win it. I've said it from the start that I think, but I would say from a football perspective, I said it a little earlier, I would like to see FC Goa win, because I believe that would be good for football. And also mentioned it earlier, yeah, most probably FC Goa is also a better competitor for India in AFC competitions, because I also don't know who in Jamshedpur will actually stay or leave, right? At what level do footballers in India get government jobs through sports quota? Poor Rishabh, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I know that there were certain quotas, national teams, somewhere even I think national level, Santosh Trophy, but I honestly, I've never really bothered about this whole sports quota thing. Bora has come up for FC Goa in clutch moments that deserve an extension. Yes, I think yes. Borja knows Indian football, has had some injury problems here or there, but he's one of those stylish players, classy players, that I like to see. What is England best playing era and squad you rate? They also still didn't crack the nut. Morali, I've not bothered about eras of England and who played and what, so I don't know. Honestly, I don't bother about England. Hi Naveen, welcome back. What's the roadmap for a person who has known nothing about coaching? Is there any academy online for a coach? Need to start looking up, reading up things, understand what are the licenses that you have, what are the experiences needed. And there is no academy for coaching per se as such. No, you have to, try and look at the AIFF-E, AIFF-D license to start off. What's the criteria? And then, start working with someone or the other in somewhat of an assistant or, that's something which is there. So situation where the clubs have readied themselves for the upcoming season eventually comes to know that the league season wouldn't happen likely. Yeah, come to know. Simon, I realized that a lot of clubs are actually not planning for the worst case. And if I was managing a club, I would be planning for the worst case, because I would have contracts in place with players and say it would be a force majeure if the ISL doesn't happen. And there is no conversation happening on that. I think that's very, very dangerous. So that's the point. Rushabh answers Aditya, general population is less than 20%. I imagine without reservation, will the vulnerable castes end up in the system, and 20% of the population still gets 50% seats. Okay. Any positive you won't forget in football, Murali? There are lots. I mean, I say there are, as I mentioned yesterday to me, the lowest point was the FIFA ban, the lowest low, because I tried to stop that. Positives, of course, the wins, right? Be it 2001, India beating the UAE in Bangalore 1-0, 8th of April 2001. The Thailand match in January 2019, 4-1 in the Asian Cup. Even though Australia, even though we lost 4-0, but that match, the way, India national anthem first time. Of course, personal biggest, of course, will always be that I played for Bayern Munich, for the legends in Kolkata against East Bengal in 2010 in November. Never forget that. So yeah, those would be some of the things that I would be very happy and proud of. Does the Asia Cup have any say in this, MRA? No, they don't. Is Duolingo a good source for learning German? I want to see you angry rant on AIFF in German. Maybe resemble another famous angry German guy. Joke, by the way. I don't know if Duolingo is a good source. All these language learning things, for me to suggest, and I guess for Roshan as well, who's also a native German and a speaker in that way, for us to say that is very, very difficult, right? Brandon was a king at FC Goa, loved by all. I think leaving was a huge mistake. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, right? I mean, you don't know if he would have picked up the injuries that he did, right? So therefore, that was the whole problem. I know now that you live in Germany, salute to covering Indian football from there. Thanks, Shanalata. Yeah, doing my little thing that I can do for Indian football. As I repeat again, therefore, do like the content, share the content with other people. 14 likes so far, and if you want to come back for more, subscribe to the channel. 2,525 now. Thanks a lot for that, and let's keep on growing the community. Let's keep on growing the numbers in regard to people who generally want to see a development, a positive development in Indian football, rather, all those things that we faced in the last few years. Stop whining and read something about why reservation exists in the first place and continue to do so. Okay, Rishabh. Okay. Mumbai City is losing 2 key players again, Mehtab and Vikram Pratap. Shomo, is that done actually? Just out of curiosity, is it done? It's like the Robson thing going to Mohun Bagan was done, I think 2 days ago. It's just asking, right? So therefore, I will only react to this once the transfer. I thought last season also, no, wasn't it some stage that Chankle is now also gone? So therefore, let them go. If they're going, then they're going. Mumbai City has to do a rebuild anyway. So therefore, that's the thing. Yeah, now you don't sound like from the Ruhrpott. Roshan, thanks. You understand what I was talking about. Do you think certain players play in such orthodox way? What about Peter Crouch, tall guy? Morally, every footballer is different. I know that people want to standardize and there's Peter Crouch, of course, exception. Thomas Müller, the Raumdeuter, is an exceptional player in that way who don't fall into any of these sort of, formats that you. So looking good with the blend of black and pink in the Sevilla top. Is this the 25-26 Sevilla kit? No, Simon, this is the champ. This was the Conference League, right? If you can wait 1 second, let me just remove this, and you might be able to see. Let me just get up. That's the Europa League patch. I did some work for Sevilla and watched a couple of games. One was against PSV Eindhoven. Actually traveled to the Netherlands and was gifted this by the club at the time. So yeah, and thought of now got such a huge collection of jerseys and gifted from XYZ that I should be wearing this once in a while in the shows rather than normal shirts. So that's why I'm doing it. So yeah, this was during COVID. Sorry, this is 22-23. Yeah, that was also under. So yeah, very nice. Thanks. Okay. Like even with the disinterest, do you think AIFF sign an agreement as they don't have many options left? Well, I honestly can't look into the minds, into the heads of the AIFF. This is something which is I can't tell you what I. No, I know what I think, but I think, but I don't know. I cannot look into the heads of the AIFF people, of the top management. Who is the AIFF? Is there anyone? Yeah. Hi, Stephen. Welcome back. Thank you very much for covering Indian football from Germany. I just got to know you live in Germany. How is the infrastructure there and everything, and how it makes different? Shanata, it is different. Infrastructure, of course, is much better. I think we're much more developed on a number of fronts. Of course, we have a lot of issues at this moment, I think, but I would always say, you know, so therefore, yeah, comparison very difficult with India. Germany has no reservations despite having so much past issues. Shows the reason why Germany is better than India. Aditya, I think this reservation thing and Germany comparison, it doesn't work. To me, it doesn't work. Europa League games yesterday were so different. UEFA Champions League semi is so much different in quality. Even if a Tottenham and a Man U are going to play a final, and look at where are in the Premier League, and you look at the Barca Inter match, which I think was the match of the season, at least the first half. So therefore, yeah, and Conference League as well. It's good to see small teams like a Bodo Glimt get to that stage, but again, if I think that Tottenham beat an Eintracht Frankfurt and Eintracht have themselves to blame for not making it further, that's the reality. You know what happened in China? They had their own 2050 World Cup plan, and they started making football pitches in all of their districts. And as the China Super League, how are they progressing? RS, I think COVID and financial issues created a lot of problems for the Chinese. And therefore, yeah, they still have their 2050 plans. They have been working. They've got the infrastructure in place. They've got, I think, the coaching to some extent, but yeah, it's something. Yeah. Did you have struggle work different countries working time zone? No, Murali. I enjoy working on that, right? Supreme Court summer vacation nonsense really going to push the verdict, isn't it? Is the month of 2 long summer vacation in other Supreme Courts across the world? Abhijit, I don't think there are summer holidays per se in a Supreme Court around the world. There might be certain justices and judges going on holiday, but there is no fixed summertime holiday per se. If there are cases that have to be heard, they will be heard. That's the problem, I think, of the Indian judicial system. The courts should be opened at least 12 months in a year. And if there are pressing issues, so that's the thing. Now imagine lawyers scanning lunchboxes to work and playing in recess. Abhijit, nice one. Have you visited Enfield? Yes, one of the best audio rating that Germany crowned, which one of your favorite? Murali, Germany is going to be always better than England. The atmosphere in Germany, and it doesn't have to be top level football. It can be even lower level. Let's say yesterday we had, 800 people watching the Remscheid local cup final, Kreispokal final, 800 people, and especially the kids were really shouting out their lives. So yeah, that's enjoyable, right? So if you ask me, the yellow wall in Dortmund is known, especially Cologne. Yeah, Rhein-Energiestadion is one. Eintracht Frankfurt also on a night in Europe is going to be impressive. So yeah, so there are tons of them that you can mention. Schalke, not to forget even. Yeah, so saw your very old videos covering the 2010 FIFA World Cup. As a journalist, you've come a long way since. What are you pursuing now? Just asking. Simon, I am more, the journalism part is more fun, right? So, this I would say, people will call me a content creator, but I see this more as fun journalistic work for me. And so therefore, I'm more into management, into consulting, as I've mentioned to you. So yeah. We know Ajax had world-class development. About coach who are there? Murali, even coaching at Ajax is of a different level, right? Johan Cruyff created a system over there. Not only there, but look at La Masia as well. So yes, coaching is part of it. So I think Lamine Yamal can become a better footballer than Messi and Ronaldo according to performance. Also, can Barcelona win the treble? Lamine Yamal has a long way to go. And I was listening today to a conversation between gentlemen who warned in the whole, Um, Ansu Fati was the example of a few years ago. I think Lamine Yamal is better than Ansu Fati, but then Barca needs to be careful with him. So I think he can be better, but again, he has a long, long way to go. And Barcelona winning the treble, yeah, of course, it's possible. Why not? Sir, is German language hard to learn? Are you also fluent in German? How can one learn German easily? There is no way to easily learn German. Sorry, and to me, learning German is difficult. For me, it isn't because I was born and brought up over here, so I've been speaking German since early childhood. But learning German, I've been told, is a difficult one. To put it simple, if we hit a roadblock, I don't know if we can ever come out of the vicious cycle of hiring the same kind in the AIFF post time. And again, everyone needs a complete reset. Yeah. That's why, Simon, I created this video today in regard to could AIFF and India football face another FIFA ban. And I feel last time around, I worked towards avoiding that FIFA ban. And if I look at it today, I'll be honest with you, I think the FIFA ban might be the best thing to happen to us at this moment in time, given the realities of things and how complicated, how complex things are. I feel, watch that video if you haven't, guys, where I try and put that all together. In general, in football, what I've noticed is any player who breaks in early in his 16, 17 wears off before his 30s, Yamal at such a vulnerable age, hope he doesn't end up like others. Rushabh can be, right? But we have examples. Wayne Rooney would be one who took it to that. So, yeah, let's see. But he's an exceptional talent. If you saw him the other night against Inter, yeah, let's see. You always wear football-related shirts before starting a live. It helps you get into zone. I don't need to get into the zone, Abhijit. I put the camera on here and I put the sounds of and I'm in my zone. I thought, yesterday I wore the Hoffenheim one, today I wear the Sevilla one. Let's see what I'll wear tomorrow. I've got a lot of things, even some old gifts from other teams in the ISL. So I'll wear those maybe as well. So or I-League. So yeah, I'll be wearing a few. Mumbai City winger Vikram Pratap Singh is one name amongst the names listed for East Bengal transfer list as per Islanders report. Bro, again, shortlisted for East Bengal transfer list. You know what East Bengal's transfer list was last season and who they got and who they didn't get. So therefore, I don't get excited or I get worried. Let's see what happens. I see. Nice. Thanks, Simon. Yeah, well, it's a very simple jersey actually, but it's a nice color combo with a little of applications on the sides. So yeah, I like it. Do you think CFG might pack their bags and leave India if ISL is over? I think if the ISL is over, we could see, about 20-25 teams saying, "Tada, bye-bye." I think that's a huge danger to Indian football, and that I think a lot of people are not realizing that that's a realistic danger at this moment in time. That where we are, that a lot of teams would be considering, So yeah. Your thoughts on Sohail Bhatt played in an all-Indian team, scored against foreigners. Rushabh, he did well, but I also remember watching him earlier this season in the CFL. So he needs to play more at that level. 2 brilliant goals, no doubt about it. Very good, movements. Seems to have learned some things from McLaren and from Cummings and from Petratos. But he needs to play. And if he doesn't play, Sohail hat seinen Vertrag von Monmouth Supergiant verlängert bekommen. Deine Meinung sollte an die I-League ausgeliehen werden. Sohail's contract has been extended by Monmouth Supergiant. My opinion, should he be loaned to the I-League? So it depends on what offers they can get for him. Do you want to keep him as a backup? or do they want to develop the player? If they want to develop the player, I don't see him as a backup. If you've got three strikers, he's not going to get a chance. Coffee and milk, I learned this today in Duolingo. Coffee and milk, please. All right. I saw a German podcast saying Barca and Real benefiting in Europe most referee decisions, the victim card the most. That's an interesting one. Yeah, I've heard this as well, and seems to be a huge topic in Germany. Even someone like a Fiago made a video about it, that Germany seems to be at the receiving end of a lot of referee mistakes in Europe. Again, and it seems like we should start campaigns like teams in the ISL do to question European referees, right? So we talk about referees in India, so therefore it's done in this part of the world as well. So what do you think is the reason for Al Nassr exit from AIFC Elite? Also, who can win the AFC final between Al Ahly and Kawasaki? The exit didn't score their opportunities, and Kawasaki Frontales did. Very simple. That's football. And both the teams can win the final, right? So therefore, interesting also was the stat, right? That since Cristiano Ronaldo has gone to Saudi, Al Nassr has not won anything. That's also a very scary piece of stats. So have you ever been to a match of UCL and also Euros? Yes. I've been to the Champions League, to the Europa League again. Yeah, this is the patch of Europa League match. Been to the Euros last year. Been to the World Cup as well. So yes, Bundesliga, Premier League, La Liga. So yeah, I've been able to watch quite a bit of football. Why did AFC remove the 4 foreigners only rule? Rushabh, they had a discussion with the clubs. When they talked about the reform of the Champions League, there was a discussion about what could be done, what needs to be done to change things, and clubs from certain countries came up and said, we would like that rule to be changed, and because the question was, how do you, in the short term, enhance the standard of the leagues or of the not the leagues, the competitions in Asia, and therefore they changed that rule. Even though, I'll be honest, I think the 4 foreigners rule was a very good rule in regard to Asia and India. And now, just to add, Kickers Offenbach 4th Division here in my place, I live around 6,000 people coming for matches. Kickers Offenbach, just to explain, Roshan, of course, also a traditional team, So therefore, for me, it shows you what German football is about. Does Reliance Youth Foundation, Young Champs, great infrastructure there in Navi Mumbai? Yes, they have, not in Navi Mumbai, but there's also infrastructure in BKC. I want to know your opinion. Have you said yesterday that Mr. Patel did nothing wrong by not conducting elections at the end of his tenure? If yes, then don't you think it's a violation of the democratic structure of the sports body and the sports code? Palash, my first question is sports code. The sports code, in my opinion, is a violation of rules and regulations in sports, in football, for example, right? When Mr. Patel was in power, the 2-10-year rule did not apply. So, and the Supreme Court has been hearing, don't forget, Supreme Court has been hearing the case in regard to the AIFF since 2018 or 17 even. I'm not sure which year, 17 or 18, right? So, like now, where the AIFF is following the Supreme Court, he said, I will call an election when the Supreme Court has decided which way to go. So he went with the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court said, oh, you're going down the wrong way. So the Supreme Court actually, with the appointment of the COA, should have questioned itself of how you're doing it. So therefore, that's the thing. And let's wait and see what happens. So therefore, for me, I don't think the blame stops with him. Because I also know from a FIFA perspective, he's the person who ensured that we didn't get banned earlier, right? Will FIFA ban us out of Asian qualifiers? If we resolve the ban, will we be added back? If we are banned during the qualifiers and we miss at least one match, we are out of the qualifiers. We will not be allowed to come back. Like, something is really wrong with the Lions. They got beaten by Monosur and 3-1. I was expecting a draw. Again, angry birds. Some of the better coaches have left, and not every batch is going to be. Any talent breaks out in young age at a big club within a season, he's paid huge wages. Didn't happen earlier too compared to the standards. Yeah, it happens, but often you will have had players who are on longer term contracts, so you're not in a position to actually give someone a big contract. So therefore, that's also reality. So therefore, one has to be careful about those things. That if you are in a position that you have to be smart with your contract. Is football a game where kids should be introduced to football before age 10? Renal, ideally yes nowadays. Ideally yes, but we've had examples of kids picking up football at a later age and it still has worked out for them. So therefore that's a possibility that one needs to think about and consider. So have you come to India? As you said, you live mostly in Germany, so do you know India or visit India? Oh, so I've not only visited India, worked in India. I know Hindi, I know Bengali, so yes, I've been that. So which is difficult, conversing live in a live stream like in a normal conversation, or shooting short videos and getting your thoughts to get an expression in a compact and crisp way? Oh, Simon, I'm fine with both. My advantage is always, I always say that I've studied media, right? I've been trained, for television. I've worked in radio. I've done writing, podcasts and other things. So therefore, for me, sometimes these live streams are easier because sometimes in a compact way to sum up your thoughts is more difficult, because I also sometimes, I'm very honest on that not always will I be able to tell you everything that I know, because there are a lot of things that are happening behind the scenes where I know that people trust me with the information that I know that I can't talk about it. So therefore, that sometimes becomes difficult, but normally I'm fine with both. Because if Mr. Patel allowed that election to take place, then nothing like this would have happened. Who says that? Well, the simple thing is that if Mr. Patel had allowed another election, he would most probably would have stood for another election. Because at that time, there was, so therefore, I don't know where this logic comes from. Just ask your questions. I always feel a bit nervous while trying to speak to the camera in front. No, I've never had that problem speaking in front of camera. I always say that I hate taking photos. I'm bad in the selfie taking and all that stuff. I should take more photos, I think. But speaking in front of a camera, I mean, I do that on a regular basis here for my local television channel, RS1 TV, elsewhere as well. So I don't have a problem speaking into a camera. Out of curiosity, says Roshan, I saw a discussion complaining about second Bundesliga being a rat race for promotion, although I observe I-League being like this in many seasons. How do you see at such tight paces? Roshan, it makes it interesting, but sometimes you feel there was the stat last weekend that you could have had 93 points and top of the table FC Köln has 54, which means that 39 points, which means 13 wins have been left out of 31. That's an insane number, right? So, and you say I-League as well, it is so close and makes it on one side very, very interesting, but on the other side, is it at the level that we want to? So therefore, let's wait and see. When will Fiago and his Valentine Hamburg SV get promoted back to where they belong, the Bundesliga? Will they bottle it again? Simon, it's possible that they bottle it again. They and FC Cologne are top two at the moment, but I don't know. Let's wait and see. I hope Mohanbag Super Giant man will send Suhail on loan to the same European club of Amandeep Singh rumored. Let Amandeep Singh go first, and I don't think that Suhail will join him there. What is the chance of Indian football getting banned due to third-party interference? Also, what do you think till where Mohanbag Super can reach this ACL season, will they be able to qualify for knockouts? Yes. So the first question is, I think there is a big chance of India getting banned once again by FIFA. Big chance. Let's put it this way, to put it very nicely. But otherwise, Mohun Bagan, I don't even. Depends on the group. If you're going to get two tough teams, Mohun Bagan, Super Giant, and again, if there's an Iranian team in the mix, I don't know if Mohun Bagan will travel. And the sad part about Mohun Bagan, if Mohun Bagan fans like it or not, Mohun Bagan has been the biggest underperformer at Asian level of all Indian teams. That's also reality. Good performances in the last few years have been what? Mumbai City, even though last time around, of course, they didn't get any points, but then Mumbai City, FC Goa, Bangalore FC, and their arch rivals East Bengal. Seems like FIFA will ban the AIFF, then put an organization committee, and then new elections. Let's wait and see. Do you think after Marquee resignation, India will be able to beat a higher ranked and better Thailand in upcoming friendly? Do you think after Marquez resignation? Why is Marquez resigning? Marquez is full-time AIFF now. Against Thailand, we have to play well and see what we can do. Mohanbag Super Giant, U17 and U15 is really strong, great grassroots scouting, I would say. At 15 or 16 is not great grassroots scouting, Palash. And I don't want to break that myth, but have you seen both pictures of both the teams? Do you think they're under 15, under 17? Just asking the question. Ideally, what should Suhail Bhatt do next? Fight first place in ISL, move to an I-League club, or move abroad? Rushabh, I don't know. Moving abroad, is that an option for him? First question. Second question, fight for a place. If Mohun Bagan has 3 strikers, he's number 4. Limited game time. Either see if there's a smaller ISL team where he could get some game time, or then, move actually to the I-League and get some game time under his belt. I think that's very important. What do you think can be best 11 to face Thailand and Hong Kong so that we can bring satisfying results against both teams? Let Maluno first pick his squad. Let's see who's all fit, because last time around, half of the players were not fit, and then, then the conversation makes no sense, So let's wait for that, and then, let's have that conversation in a few weeks. Do you watch IPL? RS? No, I actually don't, not really care about cricket, to be very, very honest. Do you think rumors of Irvine to Mohanbag Super Giant will become true, although there's a very slight chance? What do you think? There were never any chance of Jackson Irvine going to Mohun Bagan. Jackson Irvine is now injured, will be out till the start of next season. And from what I know, he'll be there at least for another year at St. Pauli in the Bundesliga. What is that every new sporting league starts with a franchise and tournament-based concept is more profitable and better fan engagement? Simon, they're copying what has been done by cricket. And and it's not as profitable as we would think or hope. So that's another problem. Profitability in Indian sports in my opinion, doesn't exist. That's a big problem at this moment in time. But again, everyone thinks that they can create an IPL somehow, somewhere, and that will make them money down the road. That's the thought process of those investors. And outside of IPL, as far as I know, nobody has actually made money. So that's also reality. Right, 1 hour and 10 minutes. If you are liking what you're hearing, what you are part of the discussion, if you haven't, do leave a like behind. and share with other people to join in. 17 likes so far. And of course, if you want to come back for regular content, do subscribe to the channel. With a 2,525. So thank you very much to every one of you and for your support as always. Just 1 second, I'll be back in. Sorry, I'm back. Ich frage mich noch immer, wie diese beiden Spieler aus der das von der spannende Hallenball während der U17-Weltmeisterschaft in Slowenien spielen konnten. So now we're asking how Namit Deshpande and Sunny Dhaliwal could be part of the Under-17 World Cup squad. Very simply, that they did a trial and invited players, amongst others, in Dubai, and also open trials in India. And those two guys seem to have convinced Luis Norton de Matos that they're better than what he has, and that's why he picked them up. I heard if Arkadag wins the AFC Challenge League, we'll lose our direct spot, but aren't we still ahead of Tajikistan, showing one even if the Western take over us? No, I don't. Do we lose? I thought we get a fixed spot, or don't we? Rushabh, I would have to check. I'm not sure at this moment. So do you think that AIFF should have a proper team training and special session and day-to-day monitoring of the team preparedness going to ACL so that they do better at least at club level? The AIFF has nothing to do what a club does at Asian level. The club, it's on the club, so therefore the AIFF is not there for monitoring, and even if the AIFF monitors it, is the AIFF going to tell the clubs, oh, this is what you're doing bad, this is what you're doing bad, you should do this better, that better? That will not work. That will be rather, I would say, counterproductive and not work. By the way, I was watching the 2009 derby. The ball control and defense were horrendous during that time, which has improved slightly, but not up to Asian level. Yeah, Angry Birds, our football has not gotten that much better, but football has gotten elsewhere much better. Therefore, even if you say that we're better than them, yeah, okay, maybe. But again, the others have gotten much better than now. U23 match under Steam was quite decent. They played some good football. I wonder why we can't arrange a better camp and a good coach with Manolo head. U23. Worship, it's a money factor. AIFF is not doing camps for the under 23s if it doesn't have to, because they've got a money issue. U17, U15 youth players, according to Playmaker Note, videos are checked before participating in those tournaments. Yeah, but again, let's not get into this thing, because a lot of players are, not working. Whatever little progress we made during the 2010s into youth football has been single-handedly wiped out since Mr. Kalyan Chaube's entry into the AIFF. Forget Chetri. Can we even produce a JJ? Simon, very good point. Can we produce JJ? Can we produce a Eugene Lindo? Can we produce, different level, better quality players? And we're not at this moment in time, right? So therefore, for me, it's COVID. COVID did its part. Let's put it very, very clearly. But then after COVID, things have gotten worse, and we are there where we are at this moment, right? It's impossible for a $2,500 per capita income country to have two big profitable sports leagues. I don't understand why these owners are willing to spend so much money on a dead league. I think a country like India could have it. The per capita doesn't matter. To me, the question is how many leagues could exist parallelly, and cricket is somewhere, way above, and the rest is down there. So therefore, the comparison doesn't work. But we could surely accommodate multiple leagues in India. I'm sure about that. So therefore, that's something that needs to be looked at. Why it is not the case, right? To me, it's something of a conundrum. We have a 6 spot as we lead by 0.02, something like that, says Angry Birds. And Simon has an answer to the show. As far as I remember, Footy Rankings tweeted out a revised coefficient ranking and started reading. I think it's fixed at least for the 25-26 season. I thought so as well, but as I said, I've not looked at it in detail. I checked the current competition rankings, and I think our clubs have to perform next season, else we'll lose our direct spot for sure. Oman is ahead of us. They don't have a direct spot as of now. Okay. And fear we'll lose a direct spot in 26-27 as Oman is already ahead of us. They don't have a spot in ACL2 from last season. So therefore, no spot is fixed up to 26-27 AFC levels, says Angry Birds. What is new franchise leagues coming up after Kashmir League? Deepak, I don't know. Honestly, if you ask me, I don't know which franchise league is coming up where. Also don't bother, to be very honest, because that's, and also now that what has happened in Kashmir, I don't know if in Kashmir, is it a franchise league or is it supposedly a league for the clubs in Kashmir? That's something which, so Simon says, that's very likely. So what I understand is, yes, for 25-26, it is clearly there. I thought it was a 3-year cycle, so 26-27 would also be confirmed. 27 onwards, it could likely be that we would lose spots, and that would mean that maybe we'll have an ACL2 qualification spot and not a fixed spot, and the second spot is actually ACL3, which is AFC Challenge League as a third tier. Next year, we have to perform for 27-28 spots being fixed in ACL2. Yeah, anyways, that's my point, right? So therefore, for us, for Indian football, it is very, very clear that we have to get ourselves good results, because otherwise we are set to lose spots and direct qualification, and that would actually hurt Indian football seriously. Sorry, guys. ISL broadcast issue. Deepak, broadcast issue is way, way down the pecking order. ISL broadcast, nobody cares at the moment. The question is, do we have an ISL next season? Right? So our question should be different. Will we see an ISL next season? I hope FC Goa wins the Super Cup. They got some results before, right? Yeah, they did very well in the AFC Champions League, but they hosted, I think, in 21 a group in Goa during Ramzan. So therefore, that was an advantage for FC Goa. But again, I take that. Kashmir Super League asked invitation for club franchises, so it might be a franchise league. But I also heard that they wanted to invite some of the usual suspects in Kashmir football. I don't know if it's real Kashmir or other teams, Lone Star and whatever there is. So therefore, Roshan, I'm not 100% sure how they're going to structure it as the JKFA. How's the weather in your city? Kishore, at the moment it's quite warm. It is still showing 26 degrees, quite humid, overcast sky. So for our standards at this time of the year, early May, very, very warm. Quality-wise, is Mohan Bagan is to sign better quality foreigners. Would we do better realistically? Rishabh, the problem is for a Mohan Bagan is then you would have to have, your whole team would have to be better. So do they have any Asian level player in that squad? Would we regard an Alberto an Asian level player? Would we regard a McLaren Asian level player to play Champions League 2? And yeah. So therefore, Rishabh, I think they would have to sign at least four foreigners of quality to be able to compete at Champions League level. And let's say, you've got a Saudi Pro League team, you're going to get a Qatari team, you're going to get a team from Iran, then the whole team would have to be so much better than you would be able to compete against these teams. Off topic, we're going to condemn the events in Kashmir. I hope justice is duly served by our government. Okay, so if ISL is backing off, do AIFF have a plan to run a league with 25 clubs? Why with 25? Deepak, the AIFF can't even run an I-League with 12, can't properly organize a Super Cup. Why are we talking about 25? I mean, where do you get the number of 25 clubs? That would be my interest to know. So do you think Ronaldo can win FIFA World Cup 2026? Is he going to be part of Portugal? I don't even know that. I think Portugal's success does not depend on Ronaldo. It depends on the whole team. And they've got some talented players in there. So, but I don't know if, Portugal can compete with a Spain, with an Argentina, with a Germany. Those would be my favorites. How's the immigration situation in Germany? Is it easier or harder to move as of now? Oh, Rishabh, I have no clue. This is not something which bothers me, to be honest. So, honestly, I don't know. Do ACL 2 clubs get any decent money to pass with? If our clubs are to spend on quality foreigners, will they get decent money? Yeah, for Indian clubs, it is decent money, but it's not going to be enough to be able to cover your costs. Let's put it this way. You have to be able to spend and then generate your own monies, which again in Indian context the clubs don't do. What do you think? Will ISL happen again next year or stop with broadcaster not known and MRA in confusion? See, the broadcaster to me is not an issue. If the ISL happens, a broadcaster will turn up. No doubt about it. But if the MRA is not extended, which is the key, then we're in trouble. So if the MRA is not extended and Reliance walks off, the AIFF is not in a position to organize an ISL. So therefore, we would need to be talking about the end of an ISL. I-League plus ISL clubs equal to 25. Yeah, but Deepak, do you think that the AIFF is in a position to organize a 25-team league? And 25 clubs makes no sense, right? I mean, and I think, or I know from certain people who was talking about it, that most probably a lot of clubs would actually pull the plug, or entities would pull the plug, say, thank you very much, we tried our bit. If Reliance is leaving, we're also leaving. So therefore, 25. They can't even, the suggested 16-team league, the AIFF at this moment in time is not in a position to organize and run that. You're very much part of with Indian football since 25 years, and as who was the best coach for national team till now? I see from an overall perspective, number one would surely be Bob Houghton, and then number two would be Stephen Constantine. Because you saw a certain plan, idea, and a development among these coaches, which other coaches spoke about. And a third would be Sukhwinder Singh at the start. When I started joining, Sukhi Paji was always very special. I don't understand why Ronaldo doesn't swallow his pride and retire. In my opinion, he holds back Portugal, and he holds back Portugal 22. Without him, they could have done better. Rishabh is not the kind of character who's going to swallow his pride, no? I'm Mohun Bagan super giant fan, but I highly doubt that this team can even compete in the ACL 2 and its increased competition. We have to pull off something like the Lion City Sailors did this year. Yeah, Simon, first of all that, but I think even Lion Sailors are better than Mohun Bagan at this moment in time, right? So therefore, that is also, a reality. And also the reality is, of course, they were lucky that Hiroshima pulled out or was forced to pull out because of fielding ineligible players. So, so therefore, and that's the reality at this moment, sadly, for any Indian club, to be very honest. His antics at United aren't to be forgotten. He tried to expose something which was already exposed successfully, turned everything away from himself, giving the pitches early. What a crime. Yeah, Rishabh. Heck, AIFF can't organize a 16-team straight knockout without government support. Right, and this is the problem, Blue, where what you mentioned again, where we are in a, not we, but a lot of people are in a delusional state of saying, AIFF can do this, AIFF can do that. People don't recognize that on one side, we're talking about the 50 crores that the AIFF gets from Reliance, which is, of course, cash. But on the other side, people are forgetting that Reliance spends round about 100 crores each year to organize the ISL. So if Reliance goes, Indian football is short of 150 crores, right? 150. And no one's even going to give you even 1 crore to do things. You're doing barter deals and say, hey, mujhe free mein ye do, free mein wo do, right? I'll give you branding, So, yeah, so that's the reality. And so therefore, that's what it is, right? So therefore, very difficult. Nobody has to leave him out of the squad. I guess only Mourinho has it. Yeah, but is Mourinho going to become Portugal coach? Don't know. How much did AIFF spend on organizing Durand Cup, or was it run entirely on sponsorship money? Durand Cup is not organized by the AIFF. The Durand Cup is organized by the army. So the AIFF, so therefore, they have nothing to do with it. And I always say that, people, what, the army gets a lot of sponsors. And of course, they're getting, it looks very nice, a lot of sponsorships and all that stuff. But a lot of, a lot of these companies sponsor the army for the sake and don't even give that much of money as people expect. So the Durand Cup is held on very, very limited amount of money, and that's why it's spread out the way it's spread out. AIFF must run a striker hunt campaign for national team. What do you think? What is it going to get us? The striker hunt, okay, we find 3 good strikers. Brilliant. Now they have to play in club football, and the clubs don't play them. We're not going to find them. We will have to either make something out of what we have, or someone steps up. Right? Sunil was not Sunil Chetri when he came in, right? He got small chances here and there, and he learned quickly. Again, his friendship to Renedy has helped. Learned a lot from Baichung, and the rest, as I say, is history. By the way, do so-called Messiah realized without Reliance money, AIFF can't give him many academies funding? Blue, something to ask. How is AIFF managing its finances if they spent 15 lakh on SUV for a top official and filling their pockets? The audit report is also gone missing since 2023. Is able to I don't know what they spend on the SUV and filling their pockets again. It's, can you prove it? This is the funny one that people have been saying, oh, this audit report, that audit report. I believe there is corruption, but can someone please give me definite facts that who has taken money here, there, and everywhere? Because that is something nobody's doing. So, yeah. Okay, got a duplicate better off a preseason tournament. Thought it's I forgot the crap. No, the Durand Cup per se has been organized by the Indian Army since day one. British Army and then Indian Army. Sorry, I have to say when it started in Shimla, it was organized by the British Army. Now it's organized by the Indian Army. And the joke is, because I've organized a couple of Durans in, I'm looking at the poster, 2006, 2007. Was that a lot of companies just hand the Durand organizing committee some money, some sort of money, and say, "Okay, mera sponsorship nahi, don't even put my logo on it," right? But they do because it looks better, and then you think, oh, they're generating so much of money, and they're not. They're just covering the costs, nothing more, nothing less. The funny thing, Army with sponsorship can organize Durand Cup, but AIFF can't do. But Rushabh, as I said, it is not what you think. It is a lot of people, out of respect for the Army, give the Army something, but they're not paying them in huge lakhs and crores. Some of the PSUs do have to do it because of their relationship with the Army, but they're not doing it. Yeah. Yes, also I did recently purchase a second-hand scooter. Nice. Example of constant playtime for Indian striker and ISL. Not gonna happen. Kishore, we have had this rule of playing under 23 players in different leagues, and clubs have always, or coaches have always tried to look at reasons of how to work around it. So these forceful playing, first of all, will reduce the standard. That's the problem. There needs to be transparency how money is spent. If they are clean, they should be releasing accounts. Rushabh, yeah, 100%. But I always say is that I've heard now corruption here, corruption. I can tell, I think people could write a whole book about corruption here, corruption there. But I always say is that I like to see the proof. If I'm making allegation against XYZ, it doesn't matter who it is, right? I need to have proof. If I'm alleging that any one of you is corrupt, so, and I can't prove it, I'm theoretically liable to you for damages, right? So therefore, I always say is that I like to work with proof. I like to work with what is there in the public domain. Otherwise, it makes no sense. Yes, I agree. I don't have any. That's the problem, Simon, right? Rushabh wants the scooter joke explained, and Simon does it for you. Yeah. Yeah, that's the joke. It's actually nothing, no story behind it. It is very, very simple why that example has been made. Yeah, it is the way it is. Once more, we've already had now 95 minutes. 20 likes so far. Thank you very much. Like, share, let other people join into our conversations, I always say. And, subscribe to the channel. Let's keep on growing the community. Let's keep on pushing to grow the community. Let more people become part of our discussions. I know talking about Indian football can be tough, can be difficult, but I like to try my bits. Again, this is one way of interacting with you people. Again, I'm also wanted to say sorry if I got a little angry yesterday, but again, I was fed up with those ridiculous points. Let's see. Angry says, I have a feeling we might do good this time in Asia to let 25 be the year of an uprising of Indian football ecosystem. Well, even Olina was the prize, the one instruction to players. But oops. That's why I don't know how much has been done here. Good night, Simon. Good night, Rushabh. Yeah, let's hope that Indian football survives the summer. And let's see what happens. At least someone said yesterday, a day without drama and tamasha. Has anyone actually heard anything in regard to the Delhi High Court hearing in regard to Anil Kumar Prabhakaran yesterday and his appointment? I've not seen anything. Was the case postponed or something? I don't know. I've not seen anything. Just asking if anyone has seen anything on that. I have asked a few people. Nobody's heard anything, so to say. But will Robson Robinho in your Bro, that's a nice one. I thought Robson Robinho was done 2-3 days ago, right? So therefore, until a club announces something somewhere, I am keeping quiet because we've gone too many of these weird kind of transfers, which supposedly are going to happen. I said Jackson Irvine, I can't believe it. Yeah. So therefore, yeah. Yes, there's something of that kind. Again, not heard anything on that. So therefore, let's see what happens on that. So therefore, yeah. No news is good news for Indian football. Tomorrow, we're back with the final of the Kalinga Super Cup 2025. FC Goa going to face Jamshedpur FC. It is Manolo Marcus versus Khalid Jamil. And so looking forward to that. I said I would like to do a live tomorrow. If I can, I'm trying to see if I can do a live tomorrow. So I'll be back around 7:20, 7:25 pre-match. Otherwise, I'll do a post-match, but I'm trying to do a live tomorrow. Let's see if it happens. And I'll take this. Seriously, some people are doing PRing as Robson is better than McLaren. Blue, again, he was yesterday there and then there, and this player here, this player there. I don't know. And Blue says, let's hope Manolo wins it and gains his confidence back in national team. Yeah, Blue, I hope so. I hope so. Good night to you too. So therefore, guys, as I said, like, share, and subscribe. Those who are watching later, if you haven't, subscribe to the channel. Watch the short videos. And I said, tomorrow I'm trying to do a live 7:25 FC Goa versus Jamshedpur FC. And keep supporting Indian football. Good night, everyone.